There's something very important that I've learned how to do over time. Do you know what that is? How to pretend. Do you ever play make-believe? Pretend to be one way when you are really the other. It's very important. But Laura never learns. But I do. They think there is something wrong on the inside. The only thing that matters is knowing how to pretend.
It's less than the week before the long-awaited Secret of the Mimic game is set to launch, and its release will ultimately confirm or debunk a lot of theories. In anticipation of that, we wanted to make a quick video of our own game predictions. However, if you're new to the channel, we do recommend watching our first video before this one. That video contains a good number of conclusions that we build upon and give more context to here. But without further ado, my name is Jeremy.
And my name is Andre.
And this is how we know what the Secret of the Mimic is.
Now, surprisingly, the Fredbear plush actually plays a vital role in our predictions for the Secret of the Mimic game. That's because we believe William is the plush, although that might be less surprising. Our belief stems from the fact that William and the Fredbear plush share the same text color in the Midnight Motorist minigame. The Fredbear plush is also shown to have a walkie-talkie in the sister location private room, where William would have watched over the fear experiments.
Evidence for William being the Fredbear plush is even present within the two-book series as well. In the Fazbear Fright story titled The Real Jake, the main character Jake McNally owns a plush doll named Simon that has a walkie-talkie inside of it. Jake's father, Evan, uses that to talk to him at nights while pretending to be the doll itself. There's also Tyler Stanton from The Cliffs, whom we mentioned in our last video. Tyler is given to Freddy plush by his father, Robert, which he uses to watch over him.
Meanwhile, in the Tales of the Pizzaplex series, the Didophobia story has more parallels and seemingly even direct evidence for William being the Fredbear plush. This story is about the fear experiments, showing a kid named Rory who's been trapped in them for 10 years. He only manages to start breaking from delusion when the gas causing them begins to run out, and this voice speaks to him as he's planning his escape. He repositioned his knees and got a better grip on the frame. He started to pull on it again, this time letting out a metallic groan. The generator scooted forward a couple inches.
Hello, Rory.
The voice coming from the speaker was a man's voice, maybe a man about Rory's dad's age. It was a very nice voice. The voice was low and smooth. It was calm and soothing. "Who are you?" Rory asked again. Why didn't the man come out to talk to him when Rory was wandering through all the concrete corridors? Why didn't the man ever spend time with Rory?
You ran away from home,
the voice said.
Don't you remember?
Rory pushed his hair out of his face and he concentrated on what the voice was saying. I ran away, he thought.
You didn't fit in at school, Rory,
the voice said. Rory's question suddenly didn't feel important. Even though Rory couldn't see who was speaking, the sound of his voice felt like a warm hug. He closed his eyes, and in his mind, he could see a reassuring smile. The man behind this voice is clearly supposed to be William Afton, who was in charge of the fear experiments and found a way to manipulate Rory into staying in them. His method of manipulation is heavily reminiscent of the Fredbear plushes in FNaF 4, and one example of this is the emphasis of "remember" in lines like, "You've been watched over and cared for. That was something your parents never did, Rory, remember? You ran away from home? Don't you remember?" All of these lines are very similar to Fredbear's "Don't you remember what you saw?"
What's interesting is that the color of the Fredbear plush's lines only stay consistent with William Afton's until Night 6, where they change from a dark yellow to a very light one. This implies that during the Fredbear plush's final lines, the entity who's saying them changes. We even see this dichotomy in FNaF World, with Adventure Fredbear's dialogue occasionally switching to glitch bears, or final speakers. We believe that this last entity is AI, specifically the AI that's put into Baby and controls her completely until Elizabeth possesses her. Many people often forget that Baby isn't just Elizabeth, but a combination of Elizabeth and Baby's AI. This is hinted by Baby referencing Elizabeth in the third person.
A little girl, standing by herself. I couldn't move, at least, not until she stepped closer. Then other children rushed in again, but they couldn't hear her over the sounds of their own excitement. I still hear her sometimes, Isn't this why you came here? To be with her again?
Henry even implies that Baby's AI is what's in control for most of Pizzeria Simulator.
And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you.
Didophobia supports this idea of Final Speaker being AI, as it's revealed that the voice Rory hears is actually from a tape recorder, playing automatically for William whenever it needs to, rather than him speaking for himself. Just like how the Fredbear plush's final lines would be spoken by AI for William. Plus, the Final Speaker's hex code is FFFFA0, which is the exact hex code that the Pigtail Girl speaks with. If you've seen our last video, then you know that we believe Pigtail Girl to be Elizabeth over the Toy Collector Girl. Her design matches Elizabeth and Baby's designs, whilst the Toy Collector Girl has blue eyes and withered Chica's pose.
This whole connection we've made isn't even unique, because it's something MatPat came to the realization of back in 2016. Just based on the sister location trailer.
In the FNaF 4 cutscenes, each character has a specific color for their dialogue. Number 787878 for the brother, FFFFFF for crying child, 57C0FF for the brother's friend, etc. Psychic friend Fredbear's dialogue for all of his lines is always the FFFF57 shade of yellow. And yet, for the final lines of "You're broken, we're still your friends, I will put you back together," it's a different shade of yellow, FFFFA0. But in a strange twist, it's actually a color of dialogue shared with one other character we see in FNaF 4, Pigtail Girl. Look at her design! Dressed in a skirt with reddish pigtails and big green eyes, just like the design of Baby. But if the glowing eyes, shared dialogue color, similar designs, and repeated line of "I will put you back together" didn't convince you, it doesn't stop there. Remember the biggest lingering question from FNaF 4? The girls' room? No one had an explanation for it. I didn't have an explanation for it. And yet Scott felt it was important enough to the lore of the story to show us. And now we might actually know why. What if the girl is a part of the crying child's family? To me, though, the coolest part about this connection would be in the name of the game. This whole time, we've been assuming that Sister Location was referencing some other spin-off chain of restaurants, or, like I said earlier, a storage and distribution center for the robots. But if the Pigtail Girl's soul is trapped in Baby, and she was indeed the sibling of Crying Child, the phrase Sister Location takes on a whole new meaning. This is her game, a game about one sister's soul trapped in the baby animatronic getting revenge for her brother's death.
And no, we're not saying that a kindergartner said all of these lines to Dave. We're saying that we believe that it was simply the AI, and that the reason they share the same hex color is because Baby was based on Elizabeth.
The idea of Baby being Final Speaker is reinforced with her references to the line that the Fredbear plush makes. The best examples of this are, "I will put you back together" with
"I can put myself back together."
"You're broken" with
I'm broken.
and
Soon, you will be as broken as I am.
"I'm still here" with.
I'm still here.
Not only that, but in the private room, the only instance where we see the Fredbear plush for real, there is a Circus Baby poster behind it. Baby is behind the Fredbear plush, or at least the Final Speaker part of it. Extra evidence for Baby being the Fredbear plush appears in the other games. Help Wanted 2 and Ruin have miniature baby dolls running around named Plush Babies, and Final Speaker's yellow eyes in FNaF World look exactly like Baby's eyes in the Update 2 ending of the very same game.
We finally reached the moment of this video that everyone's been waiting for. As you all have probably guessed by now, we believe that the AI first put into the Fredbear plush and then put into Baby is the Mimic AI. This AI is then recovered from the FNaF 6 fire, and infects Help Wanted as Glitch Trap.
I mean, just look at all their eyes. They're exact matches.
When the Mimic speaks to Cassie in Ruin, it is represented by Helpy, who has yellow eyes, not the blue of its standard form. This makes the Mimic's depiction a small bear with yellow eyes, something that's very reminiscent of Final Speaker. Help Wanted 2 further connects the Mimic to Helpy by having Helpy disappear in the ending where we defeat it. Then, in the Helpy First Aid minigame, we find a chip inside of Helpy, the very same chip that's found in Baby.
There is a passcode that you must enter before you can retrieve me.
Baby explicitly says that this chip is her. The same chip inside of her is the same chip inside of the Mimic. The picture of Helpy running from a fire in the same game represents the fact that the Mimic program, which was inside of Scrap Baby in the FNaF 6 fire, survived.
I mean, all of these Help Wanted 2 drawings show the story of the Mimic in order. It starts in the first drawing with Scrap Baby, and in the second drawing it shows it surviving the FNaF 6 fire. The third drawing represents Security Breach and Ruin by showing DJ Music Man on the top left, the Princess with her sword on the bottom left, Balloon Boy from Balloon World on the bottom right, and the Mimic holding the walkie-talkie which it used to lure Cassidy pretending to be Gregory. Finally, the fourth drawing shows Cassidy and Gregory celebrating because the Mimic is dead.
What's more, the key thing that the Mimic does in both the books and the games is pretend. It's able to fit itself into various costumes, or disguises, and change its behavior in order to pretend to be different characters. One of Baby's lines directly parallels this ability.
There's something very important that I've learned how to do over time. How to pretend. Do you ever play make-believe? Pretend to be one way when you are really the other. It's very important. But Laura never learns. But I do. They think there is something wrong on the inside. The only thing that matters is knowing how to pretend.
However, we see this behavior outside of Ruin and Secret of the Mimic, behavior that Baby just so happens to be involved with. Ennard uses Michael's body like a costume in order to disguise itself and escape the sister location bunker. It then mimics Michael's behavior, with Ennard walking on the same path and in the same manner that Michael did every night until his body couldn't anymore.
Let's not even get started with how the Mimic's main form in the upcoming game is Jackie, which is a clown animatronic, just like Baby. And also, I feel like we need to mention the parallelism between Ennard scooping Michael and the Mimic getting scooped in the Scooper ending. It's a perfect parallel. We'll be saying that a lot.
Even the books support the idea of the Mimic being associated with Ennard. In the seventh Tales of the Pizzaplex epilogue, the Mimic transforms itself to vaguely resemble a spider by contorting into a mess of metal joints and wires, much like Ennard. This variation of the Mimic includes a notable detail from Ennard's design, which is an eye on one leg. Later, in the eighth epilogue, the Mimic shifts itself to resemble a snake in order to escape a costume, much like how Ennard looks and has to contort itself while abandoning Michael's body.
Let's talk about the "I'm still here" line that is said by Final Speaker now. This is demonstrated not only in-game, but also in this teaser image for Scrap Baby, labeled "I'm still here" in the files. This teaser is a reference to another teaser for Springtrap in FNaF 3, which says, "I'm still here," as well. When Final Speaker said these lines to Dave, it was acting in William's place. To put things into perspective, this is similar to how William tells Michael to put Elizabeth back together.
I put her back together, just like you asked me to.
Both Michael and the AI were doing things for William in place for him. While we implied in the first video that William was the one who put the crying child together, we believe that he did so indirectly, and that Baby did the brunt of the work.
Wait, this kind of follows the Eleanor plots within the Fazbear Fright series. In To Be Beautiful, Eleanor rebuilds someone using robotic parts, and in the Stitch Rate Stinger subplot, Eleanor acts as an ally to William.
Yep, you're right. Plus, in FNaF's sister location, when Baby believes Michael to be William, she clearly states,
I thought you liked me. I thought I did everything right.
While a lot of people initially believed that Desk Man was Henry because of him creating Baby in the novels, that just can't be true anymore. Henry has to remain alive in order for FNaF 6 to happen. But if that's the case, then who is Desk Man? Well, we believe that Desk Man is actually Edwin, and that his character was created to solve this inconsistency. Edwin is a Desk Man that's killed by his own creation, Yellow Eyes, or the Mimic, and this is what the secret of the Mimic is. We wouldn't be surprised if we even saw this in the game.
We can even go further, though. On Steelwool's Guess the Sketches marketing Secret of the Mimic, we're given teaser images that imply that the crying child has some relevance to the game. How could that be if the game allegedly takes place in 1979, a year before the crying child is born because of the evidence we discussed in the last video of him turning 3 during the day of the bite? Well, what if, and this is getting in very speculative territory, but what if the reason his name was found to be David, abbreviated to Dave by Hyperdroid, which is the exact same name as Edwin's son, David, is because they don't just coincidentally share that same thing, but they're the same character. Not only do we get this hinted at by Memorial and the Restless with "the baby isn't mine," which has caused a lot of people to speculate that one of Afton's sons isn't his. Well, sure, there's a lot of parallelism in the MCM videos between presumably David and Dave with the "I'm your only friend," but that's just headcanoning. I mean, it's not like it's already implied that the protagonist of Secret of the Mimic is William Afton because of the Murray half-shredded company firing letter given to John FNaF followed by the massive Spring Bonnie figure. It's not like maybe the reason why the crying child is said to be broken in FNAF 4 is because he's literally a robot version of Edwin's son that William built and passed off as his own son. That would just be stupid. Like including an achievement for Secret of the Mimic that says, "Restore what is broken," a clear reference to the bite victim, like the belated birthday achievement. I mean, those are very clear coincidences. I mean, sure, like we discussed in the last video, B72 implies that the crying child's eyes are black because he's a robot, but come on, that's just bad writing. Just like how if the crying child was Edwin's son, then the Desk Man in FNAF World, who he said could be Edwin, would be in FNAF World because he's the crying child's stat. But anyways, now that the Secret of the Mimic is out of the box,
I guess you could say Jackie's box.
let's get out of speculating. Let's get out
Can
of
we include this as a
territory.
blooper?
Sure. Let's get out of speculative territory for a second. Most definitely, our next video will be a part 2 to our first, featuring all the evidence we weren't able to include in part 1.
In the future, we also plan to debunk the theory that Charlie dies after the MCI. For now though, this current video is over. See you guys on the flip side.
And thank you for all your support.